Real concerns heading our way. We do expect a hot week this week, and models have been trending actually drier and drier as of today and even yesterday. So I think our highest rain chance this week may be tomorrow with our front that's moving in. Then we turn mainly dry the rest of the week. I think maybe a couple stray showers or storms. It may be a little less hot and less humid, and then we heat up again toward the weekend, probably back in the middle 90s. Again, yesterday it was 96, today 94, and tomorrow I have us maybe 92 or 93, so temperatures should be coming down. Not just yet, though. Our temperatures in the 80s right now. Are daytime highs from earlier this afternoon, you can see they're in the 90s. And here we are, almost all spots, aside from a couple of locations in the 80s or upper 70s. And then our feels like temperature still pretty high. I was pointing out that front that we're expecting to drop in and replace this high pressure situation that we've had this weekend that has kept us so dry and mostly sunny. Here is our precision cast starting tomorrow. It looks quiet to start your Monday morning. We'll be in the 70s, just that kind of muggy feel. But here comes the front. This is lunchtime around noon, starting to see a couple of showers pop up. This is through the afternoon, 3 p.m. and then on towards 6 p.m. Some scattered rain expected. This model has some of the most out of the different models that I've looked at, but it does look like probably up to about a 30, maybe even 40% chance of rain tomorrow afternoon. 10 p.m., most of the rain is wrapping up, and then the front settles just south of our coast really for several days after that. And what we may see is a little bit of slightly drier air move in, which I'll show you in a second. First, though, quickly tonight, north and south of the lake, those 70s expected, and then tomorrow, maybe about 93. Be prepared just in case of a spotty shower or storm. Shouldn't be extremely strong, but we'll be watching that tomorrow afternoon. And there's your planner for tomorrow. Again, not everyone is going to see rain, but it is our best chance, I think, for this week. After that, we will drop it to just about maybe 10 or 20%. And then we might keep the weekend at about 20 to 30% because that system that we've talked about in the Gulf that may develop, or not develop, I should say, but should just kind of continue to be a broad low pressure area, will probably send a lot of rain to South Florida, maybe even in the yellows you can see here, maybe up to about 10 inches of rain for some spots, not out of the question. Where we are in the greens, not a lot of rain is expected, maybe a ½ inch or less. That's how it's looking right now. So sometimes we do see this when we have these low pressure systems in the Gulf. Sometimes the moisture rides up the eastern side and moves into eastern parts of the Gulf Coast, but not so much for us. And in fact, we may have some slightly drier air that works in, and that may actually bring our temperatures down a little bit, humidity down a little bit, and also make it a little bit harder for us to get any showers and storms. Looking at that humidity drop, I'm not making big promises. It doesn't look like a huge difference, but I think we may be able to feel it possibly. Dew point temperatures maybe upper 60s as opposed to lower 70s like we've been. And just to highlight again, there is no development really expected officially in the next 7 days, but we have still just talked about a broad low. Of course, to get a real tropical system going, it needs to tighten up and become a surface low and eventually a closed low. But this is just one of these situations that Central American gyre where it just is a big circulation just feeding this moisture over to the east. So Florida again in for a pretty big rainmaker situation this week, especially the southern part of the peninsula. But for us, we may just be on the other side of it with mostly dry conditions. Now, 1 week away from tomorrow and Tuesday, we might see a few showers maybe meandering toward us. We will see, but our 7-day forecast is showing not a big rain chance for this week. Don't be surprised again. We'll have a pop-up shower storm chance each afternoon, but our temperatures dipping a little bit midweek and then going right back up as some of that heat starts to compress and we get that drier and hotter feel by Friday and Saturday.
Well, earlier this week, we told you about a celebration honoring the 40th anniversary of the World's Fair held right here in New Orleans. In this WWL throwback, we're taking a deeper look and a decade-old story from WWL Louisiana alum Phil Capo.
You can still see mementos of the 1984 World's Fair, but it's the memories that count.
We actually spent every day we could there.
Rosalind Green was just 13 when I interviewed her and her mother on the fair's opening day.
We've been looking forward to it since November.
It's marvelous. It's the best thing that ever happened in New Orleans, I think. The chance to see the world, even at that small a scale, was thrilling to me.
The fair was a wonderland of rides and exhibits, pavilions from foreign countries, and cuisine ranging from local staples to exotic dishes.
The excitement of riding the gondola across the river, I mean, that was death-defying in many ways. The monorail, I mean, we brought things to New Orleans that our city had never seen before.
Now, Centennial Plaza is gone. It's a parking lot. Bayou Plaza has been replaced by the Convention Center, and where the Wonderwall stood is now Convention Center Boulevard.
It's bittersweet. 30 years ago, I think, when the world came to New Orleans, and it leaves such great memories.
12 million people need to visit this fair between now and November to make this $350 million exhibition break even.
Of course, that didn't happen, and the fair ended up in bankruptcy. But 30 years later, the impact of the fair is still being felt, even as we compete for the Super Bowl.
So it brought the warehouse district into the 20th century.
It made New Orleans more of a national personality than it had been before.
It can pull together the resources to put on these major events like Super Bowl.
I'm Bill Capo, Eyewitness News.
What's the saying? It ain't there no more.
Oh, yes. Very
It
apt.
ain't.
Is that the saying?
That's what they be saying. It ain't there no more. That's the Christmas saying from the little song that WWO people were singing. So
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That gondola going across the river.
I wouldn't do it.
That, like, I saw images of that earlier
Yes.
this week. I just, like, can't even believe that.
I
Like,
found some video. I just kept watching it. I was like, what?
Yes, and I just saw a photo and I kept looking at it. That was pretty impressive. Now, coming up in sports, Nola Gold makes franchise history with their victory today, plus a few tickets to